Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about functions because those show up in your test packet today. So it's problems 65 through 67. 65 and 66 though mostly are what I'm talking about right here. So if you remember when we talked about functions, we started talking about these in second grade because we played guess the function. So you told us something and its partner, or Fred told us something and its partner, and we had to guess what the rule was. So for example, let's talk about an easy one. Let's say we had cat, dog, and cow. All right, that would be the members of the domain. That's the set that we're doing the matching with. All right, so we start with something in here, we match it with something in here, and that other set is called the codomain. And let's say this was puppy, calf, foal, and kitten. All right, so cat gets matched to kitten, dog gets matched to puppy, cow gets matched to calf. Foal doesn't have to get matched to anything. Remember, for it to be a function, just everything in the domain has to get matched to a single thing in the codomain. All right, so this is how we did it before. We showed the line sometimes that went from one set to the other, or we just did cat gets matched to kitten, dog gets matched to puppy, and cow gets matched to calf. Oops, calf. So those are two ways that you've seen it before. There's a new way that they're going to present in the packet that looks like this. And I'm going to kind of build up to the way they show it in the chart. So it might say something like this: cat, kitten, dog, puppy, cow, and calf. Oops, I don't know why I keep wanting to spell that wrong. And they might say domain and codomain. Okay, but really they're trying to build you up to more grown-up math, I guess. The concept of function is definitely a grown-up thing, but what Fred has done all along is kind of play it down and make it a kid thing, but now we want to just build it up. So the next thing we could do to build it up and make it more true to math is, instead of, well, we'll do the same thing here. Cat, dog, cow, thank goodness I didn't pick a bigger function, kitten, puppy, calf. Instead of calling this domain and codomain like we do here, a lot of times they just use X and Y. All right, the X represents the thing from the domain, and the Y represents the thing from the codomain. All right, so it's still showing the match. It's still going from cat to kitten, dog to puppy, cow to calf. But instead of using domain and codomain, we use X and Y. So X generally stands for the member of the domain, and Y stands for the member of the codomain. I don't know why, other than I can tell you mathematicians typically try to make things as brief as possible, and so instead of writing out the whole word domain like this and codomain, they just simplify it with X and Y. Why they didn't choose D and C, I'm not sure, except that X and Y are very popular to use in math, probably because they don't show up in as many words as some other things like D and C. All right, now here's where we start looking at really what's in the packet. All right, so I'm going to write it as I have been. Excuse me, X and Y here, but now instead of like elementary school things, what we're going to do is we're going to start using numbers. And we're still trying to find what the pattern is. It's just things that you don't have an association with, like cat and kitten, dog and puppy, cow and calf. This might be something like 1 and 7, 10 and 16, 3 and 9, and 15 and 21. All right, so it's asking, what is the pattern? What's the relationship, or what's the rule? What do we have to do to 1 to get to 7? What do we have to do to 10 to get to 16? What do we have to do from to 3 to get 9. What do we have to do from 15 to get 21? And so they're going to give you some choices here, and you have to pick the correct choice here. So they might say, all right, y equals x plus 9, y equals x minus 1, y equals x plus 6, y equals x plus 2. And you have to pick the right one. So what this means is they're saying that if I pick my x value, let's say 1, and I add 9 to it, do I get my y value? All right? They're asking, is that the pattern? The pattern is take the x value and add 9, and then that gets me the y. So let's try it. If I take 1 and add 9, do I get 7? No. If I take 10 and I add 9, do I get 16? No. If I take 3 and I add 9, do I get 9? No. So this can't be it. I'm following what the rule says to do. Take my x value and add 9, and that gets me my y value, and it's not working. All right, let's try this one. This says take the x value, subtract 1, and you should get the y value. So let's try that. If I take the x value 1 and I subtract 1, which is what the rule tells me, do I get 7? No. If I take 10 and I subtract 1, I get 9, not 16. So this does not work either. Let's try this. It says take the x value, which is 1, add 6, so 1 and 6 is 7. Do I get 7? Yes. Okay, so that's looking good. Take the x value, which is 10, add 6. Do I get 16? Yes. Take the x, which is 3, add 6. Do I get 9? Yes. Take the x, which is 15, add 6. Do I get 21? Yes. This is the pattern right here. All right, so it's saying take your x value, add 6, and you should get the y value. All right, now that was additive, where I'm taking and adding. This is almost like our arithmetic sequence, where we're just looking for a constant pattern of addition or subtraction. Then there's another type that we could do. Again, here's my x, here's my y. So let's say I did 4, 3, 11, and 2. No, let's do 9. I want to mix them up a little bit here. And let's say I did 16, 12, 44, 36. And again, they're going to give you choices. And so you have to figure out which one is correct. So I'm going to give you some here, and you see if you can figure it out. Y equals 2x, y equals x plus 12, y equals 4x, y equals x plus 9. Okay, so if you recall from our conversations that we've had before, if you put a number and a letter side by side, that means multiply. Even though there's no symbol between here, this doesn't say 2 times. This says, because this isn't a multiplication symbol. This is the x from the domain column. So this right here is 2 times x. Again, sometimes we write it like that. But again, they're getting really grown up with you here when they just put them side by side and expect you to know that that means multiplication. So let's try it here. This is saying take our x value and multiply it by 2. So 4 times 2 is 8, not 16. No, that's not looking good. Take our x value, 3, and multiply it by 2. Do we get our y value? 3 times 2 is 6, not 12. So no, that's not looking good. Okay, let's try it with part B. This says take our x value and add 12 to it. All right, so then we get 4 plus 12 is 16. Oh, okay, so that's good. Then let's do it again. 3 plus 12, oh, is not 12. No, that doesn't work. 11 plus 12 is 23, not 44. 9 plus 12 is not 36. So we were tempted a little bit. Sometimes they'll do that to trick you and make the first one work, but not others. So make sure you try more than one. Okay, then let's try part C. C says take our x value, multiply it by 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. Yes, that works. 4 times 3 is 12. Yep, that works. 4 times 11 is 44. Yep. And 4 times 9 is 36. That's our pattern right there. All right, so these numbers all follow the pattern that you take the x value and you multiply it by 4, and that gives you your y value. Now this is a multiplication symbol right there. So take your x value, multiply it by 4, and that gives you the y value. All right, so they're going to start using variables to represent things. In problem 67, they do that. They tell you something like h stands for the number of hours. This is a little bit less like a function, but it is asking you to write an equation that describes what's going on in the problem. I'm not going to do it for you because I want you to try it. But again, think about what you would do to get the answer, because they're asking you to figure out how long it's going to take before Joaquin earns $50 at his job, where H is the number of hours. So think about situations like that. Maybe sometimes you babysit for somebody or you pet sit and you charge by the hour. So think about how you would figure out how much money you're going to earn. And a lot of times I ask myself things like, if I worked for 1 hour, this is the number of hours, this is the amount of money. If I worked for 1 hour, how much would I earn? If I worked for 2 hours, how much would I earn? If I worked for 3 hours, how much would I earn? And so forth. And then I can see what the pattern is, or at least I can say, well, how did I get that? How did I get from 1 hour to the dollar amount? What did I do? And then look for an equation that shows that. All right, so again, it's still that same kind of thing with hours and dollar amount, but you're looking specifically for what's the H value that gives me 50 here. All right, so you're looking for a pattern that describes that. Okay, good luck with them.